Okay, so hi everyone, and a very good evening to all of you. And I'm really very much excited to be conducting Flutter Festivals once again from where we left. And thank you all for being so patient. My name is Oindrila, and I'm a Google Developer Student Club's lead at my campus, Dr. Shudhi Chandrashud Institute of Technology. And I love meeting people and, like who are from different diverse backgrounds and having common interest, and I really love working in collaboration with people, and I also love learning about new technologies and help people learn about new technologies as well. So I will be your host for today's session, and in the past two sessions, we had a brief overview about how things work in Flutter. And from today onwards, we will be going, you know, deeper into how things work in Flutter. And also, like, we will build our first app using Flutter. Also, we have a very special guest with us today. Um, so, we have Abhishek Doshi, sir. And Abhishek Doshi sir is a Google developer expert for Dart and Flutter, and he's also the youngest GD in India. And he's also a Google mentor, thereby mentoring individuals as well as companies that wish to start using Flutter. He's the organizer of Flutter Valsar and the co-organizer of Flutter India. Along with this, he's also a tech speaker and tech content writer, mostly for Flutter and Firebase. He currently works as a senior Flutter engineer at Somnio Software, and he's also working in Flutter for almost 3 years now. So, really excited to have you, sir. And I think we should get into the session now.
Thank you so much. Thank you for the great introduction. Am I audible clearly?
Yeah, yeah, you're audible.
Okay, let me quickly share my screen.
Sure.
Okay, so is the screen visible?
Yeah, yeah, it's visible.
Perfect. So, welcome to the talk to all the Flutter enthusiasts and beginners, already experts. So, yeah, first of all, um, already being introduced, just a summary. I am a Google developer expert for Dart and Flutter, organizer of Flutter Valsad, co-organizer of Flutter India, and tech speaker and writer mainly for Flutter and Firebase. And apart from that, I work as senior Flutter engineer at Somnia Software. It is a South American company, and I work there as a senior Flutter engineer, helping the team mainly on Flutter and making decisions as a tech lead, team lead, etc. So yeah, what exactly is Flutter? You might have already known what is Flutter. So Flutter is a UI framework or UI toolkit developed by Google, which allows us to create applications for Android, iOS, Mac OS, Windows, Linux, web, Fuchsia OS, embedded systems. And yeah, basically this all platforms are now supported. Out of this, Android, iOS, web, and desktop are in stable versions. Other of them are in beta or master channels. So yeah, you can try them out. And few of the major companies that uses Flutter, one of the best example is Google Pay. Google Pay is completely created using Flutter, recreated using Flutter. BMW is using Flutter in their application. Toyota uses Flutter for their sorry, dashboard applications. And there are many such companies like Alibaba, Groupon, etc., which uses Flutter now. So yeah, let's check some real stuff. My PPT ends here. Theory is quite boring. So yep. Okay. So as you might already be aware, we are going to create a simple application, two-page application, where you would be having the what we can say, contact detail application kind of thing. So first of all, let's create a new project and name it as just contact details. I hope the screen is, yeah. So when you create your first application, by default, there would be a code which would look like a counter application. Basically, there is a counter value at there is a counter at the center, and on the bottom right corner, there is a button which allows you to increment the value. So let's first see how this looks. Then we would go on to create our own application. Let me Okay, so let's check out the current application. So until this runs, first of all, let me just tell you, you might have heard that Flutter is just widget, widget, widget. So what exactly widget is? If you are coming from web development background, with any tag that we have in HTML can be considered as a widget. We have a widget for text, we have a widget for button, we have a widget for image, we have widget for everything. We have widget for center as well. Container, we have column, we have etc. So yeah, you can see the application over here. There is just a center text where we have 0. If I click on the button, it increases the value. This is the basic application that we get when we create any new Flutter application. Now, first of all, let's just delete everything, terminate the application, and first thing we would be writing is the material app. So you would have saw that I just wrote mat and everything came. Basically, this is an extension called Flutter Awesome Snippets. You can install that. There are many more shortcuts available for it. Okay, so if you check this code, what it simply does is it just had a center text called hello world, nothing else. And if we run this quickly, so we have material app at the root of the widget tree. Then we have scaffold. Scaffold you can consider as the canvas where you paint your applications. Then we have app bar. The top bar that we have, which says material app bar, is the app bar. Then we have center, and the text is placed in the center. This is the text. Now, if you want to, increase the size of it, we have a parameter called text, a parameter called style, and in that we can pass text style. And here we have a parameter called font size. Let me just pass random 50. So yeah, you can see the text increased. Now what we are going to do is we would just provide here our own name and a button over here. The button on the bottom right corner is called floating action button. So you can provide, if you just write fab, you will be able to get the floating action button parameter. And there is a widget for floating action button, what you need to do when the user clicks on it, and the child. So in the child, what we are going to do is we can pass an icon, icons dot next. So you can see we now have the floating action button, and currently we are not doing anything, right? Like on the click of it, I am clicking it, but nothing happens. So what here are we going to do is we would create one more file called home dot dot, and we would navigate to that file when the user clicks on it. Let's first create it, or let's suppose contact.dart, because this is the place where we would be having our contact details. So here let's just create a stateless widget called contact, import the files, and what this does is it just have a, right now it just have a red color container so that we can actually see it. Now when you want to navigate to any particular page, we have a class called navigator dot of context dot. So if you just write navigator dot of context dot, there would be a lot of methods available. So we have pop, which pops the page, or you can say which lets the user go back to the previous page. Pop and push named, which means that it pops the current page and it pushes to the page route that you are providing. Pop until it pops all the pages until the particular function returns true. Push, it pushes to the next page or the page you are providing. Push and remove until it pushes to the next page and removes all the pages until the function returns true. Push named, here you can, like, basically you can navigate in two ways, either using routes or using the classes directly. Route, basically you can provide a string to every class that you have, or you can directly provide the class name. So whenever you use the string, it is called named routes, and whenever you directly use the class name, it is called material page route. So push named, here you can push to a particular route name, push named and remove until push to a new route name until the function returns true. Push replacement. Now this is a special kind of you can say function. It replaces the current page with the new page. So if the user clicks on back, he will not be able to return to the previous page. The application would close. Next is push replacement named. That is, if you want to push to a route name using like replace the current route with the new route. Then we have remove route below, replace route, etc. So here we would just use the push, and you have to provide a route. Now basically there are two types of routes: material page route and Cupertino page route. Now if you notice, whenever we have an Android phone, the pages move from left to right. Sorry, the pages move from top to bottom. Like whenever you want to navigate to a page, it comes from bottom, and whenever you pop that page, it goes back down. And in iOS, the pages come from left to right. So if you want to provide the Android style navigation, you can use material page route. And if you want to provide iOS style navigation, you can use Cupertino page route. And this requires a builder. So builder basically takes a function, and it requires a class name. So this is how you can navigate to any other page. So what we have done here is we have used a by default class called navigator, and inside that we have a method for push. Push method takes a route, which is the material page route, and when we want to material page route takes a builder, which takes a particular class. Now if you want to navigate, you can see that there was some error. Okay, so the error said that navigator, let me just show you again. Navigator operation requested with a context that does not include a navigator. So it is suggested whenever you are navigating from the first page, the scaffold or the entire home part should be moved to a separate page. It should have a separate context. So let's just cut from here. Create a new file called home.dart, and create a stateless widget home. And instead of container, we would return the scaffold that we copied from the main.dart, and in the main.dart, here we would provide home as the home part. And how to restart the app. So you can see our UI didn't change, but now if we click on the floating action button, it navigates to the other page, and you can see the app came from like top to bottom, sorry, bottom to top. And when we popped it, when we clicked on back, it went from top to bottom. This is because we have used material page route. Now if we, instead of material page route, use Cupertino page route, you would notice that it came from right to left, and when the user clicks on back, it went from left to right. So you can, provide whatever you want, material page route or Cupertino page route. But as we are using it on Android simulator, it's good to provide material page route. So now, navigation's done. How we can navigate to a new page. Now it's time how we can, move, create our main contact application. So let's go to contact.dart. And in this, what we are going to do is there would be a scaffold, and in the body of the scaffold we will have a column. So you can see now everything's gone, the red color went off, and in that we have children. And we would be showing an image over here in the center. So let's first change the color of scaffold, amber, better. So here we can show an image using circle avatar. So basically what circle avatar does is it provides the image using it. It basically allows you to add any image in your application. So yeah, circle avatar, if you click, there is multiple parameters: background color, background image, foreground color, foreground image, etc. So let's give it background image, and here we would provide image dot network, sorry, network image. And network image requires a string URL. Let me just copy any URL, Flutter logo. So yeah, you can see on the top left corner, we are able to see the Flutter logo very small. Let's increase its size at least. So to increase the size of the circle avatar, we have the radius. We can increase it to 50, and you can see the radius increased. Now it's time to, get this thing in center. So we have main axis alignment dot center, and we can wrap this with center as well. So you can see now it's center, right? Now we have the image. The next step is to, let me just summarize this much first. So basically what we did is we created a first home.dart, and we navigated from home.dart to this contact.dart using the navigator.off context.push. The next thing was to create a contact.dart page, and in that we just had a simple center circle avatar with radius of 50 and a background image. It's not necessary that we have to use network image itself. We can use asset image as well, and you will have to add asset to your application. And we increase the radius of it, made it into center. So yeah, we created the image. The next step is to create a card, basically where you will be able to write your anything, like let's suppose Instagram. So you can see the card is available. Let's at least give a bit of spacing, size box, height 20, and you can give padding to this, elevation, margin, shape. There are many things that we have. Let's give a bit of margin to it. So yeah, basically margin is provided above the card, and if we have padding, it is provided inside the card. So what we can do is we can wrap this text widget with padding widget, and you can see the padding got increased. Let me just increase the size, text style, font size, and give it 20. So yeah, now you can see that the size of the image is increased, and we have the size of the card is increased, and we have the padding as well. Let's increase the padding to 18, and you can also give the shape. So we have a parameter called shape, where you can give whatever shape you want, rounded, rectangle border, and in that we have the border radius, and it takes radius dot circular 20. So you can see we actually made the it kind of a button kind of thing. So let's just copy paste few of this, so we can get like multiple ones. I'm just going to copy two and change this to Twitter. So you can say like the basic thing is done. Now let's suppose you want to, you didn't like this color. I want to add a gradient kind of thing. So what I can do is I can wrap this with container, and inside container we have decoration, box decoration, and in this we have gradient. So we can provide linear gradient and two colors, colors dot red, colors dot orange, but you are not able to see it because we have already provided the color to scaffold. So yeah, now you can see, just see is the white color kind of thing. So now you can see the gradient, and it's not just the gradient. You can also, provide like from where to where, like from left to right. You want to go left, top left to bottom right, or from left to right. Currently, it is from left to right. We can provide as many colors as we want: yellow, and there are stops kind of thing. Yeah, begin. So in begin, you can provide alignment dot top left. So it would go from top left to bottom right. So yeah, you can do that as well. Now, what we want to do is we want to, whenever the user clicks on Instagram or Twitter, we want them to open the link. So what we can do is first let's terminate the app, because we are going to use a new package. So there is a package called URL underscore launcher. So what you have to do is you have to add that package to your pubspec.yaml file, which I got it added over here. So what this does is it provides a method, and that method takes a value, takes a URL, and whenever the user clicks on it, the Flutter framework navigates that user to any particular URL. So what you have to do is just wrap this with gesture detector. Gesture detector is a widget that allows the user to click on a particular widget. So gesture detector, and we have on tap. Let's just again run the application quickly. So inside gesture detector, there are many methods: on tap, on double tap down, on force press, and if you want to do something when the user drags, that is also possible. On long press and many more. So yeah, this was our first screen. When the user clicks on it, we move to this. So currently we don't have anything, right? Because we are not doing anything. Now there is a method called launch. You can see this is from the URL launcher package, and here you can provide any URL, and if the application is installed in the device, it would be navigated to the application. Otherwise, it would be navigated to that website. So you can see as the application is not there here, so it was navigated to Instagram.com. Now the same way we can wrap our Twitter part with gesture detector too. Let's widget. So let's get back to our application. And if I click on Twitter, it navigates me to the Twitter username, because basically Twitter doesn't require login to see the particular user. So yeah, this is how you can create a simple small two-page application. Now let's suppose how we can manage the data on-screen data. So what we are going to do is, let's create two strings. That this would be our Instagram URL and our Twitter URL. Now let's just copy it. Okay, so what we did is we created two variables, Instagram URL and Twitter URL. And instead of here, we can directly pass the variable itself. So Instagram URL, and where's the Twitter? Yeah, here. So here you can pass Twitter URL. This would also work. Let me restart it. So you can see if I click on the Instagram, it navigated me to the Instagram part. If I click on Twitter, it navigated me to the Twitter part. Same way, you can add as many, as many cards as you want. There is a link for WhatsApp as well, wa.me link slash, I guess, mobile number, which allows the user to, directly open the WhatsApp number as well. So that is also possible. So yeah, you can see the code was pretty small and easy. We just created two variables to store the URLs. Then we created a container to provide the gradient. Then we had the column where, because we have the widgets one below another, we have column. If we want to show it one beside another, we have row. And then we have circle avatar. Basically we were going to show the image in circular format. So circle avatar, it we provided the radius is 50. Then we provided a background image to it, that is this Flutter logo image. Then size box to provide the space between two widgets. This particular entire thing, gesture detector, card, padding, text, is this particular Instagram card. Gesture detector allows the user to tap on it, click on it, long press on it, etc. Card, kind of container, but provides a much better view than container. Then we had this again size box to provide spacing between Instagram and Twitter. Then the same card for Twitter. So yep, I hope that got cleared. And on the main.dart, we just created a simple void main my app and navigated as the home class. We provided the home.dart. And inside the home.dart, we just created a simple center text and a floating action button. So when the user clicks on floating action button, we are navigating it to contact page. Now, as I said that, like if you navigate right now, and if the user clicks on back, user gets back to the home.dart. But if I use push replacement, and if the user navigates and if I click on back, the user is out of the application. So this was the main difference between push and push replacement. Push allows the user to go back to the previous page. Push replacement replaces the current page to the new page. So yeah, I hope that was clear, and I hope you learned something new. So yep, if you have any questions, feel free to ask right now. If you are kind of shy, if you don't want to ask right now, no issues. Reach out to me on Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, GitHub, or Medium at Abhishek Doshi 26. I would respond there as well. And I
So
hope
I
you learned something new. Yeah,
I'm sorry to interrupt, sir, but I think there are some questions in the chat. So would you like to answer them?
yeah, sure. So can we use Flutter for building a portfolio? Definitely, I have created a portfolio application using Flutter. Let me find it out quickly. Um, this was created actually a long back. Right now, the Flutter web is completely in stable version, so you would be able to get more out of it. This when I created this Flutter application, sorry, the portfolio application. Let me quickly find it. I'm not able to find it. Gosh. Okay, never mind. Yeah, basically you can create an application using sorry, the portfolio application using Flutter itself, because now Flutter is in stable version, so you can create an application using Flutter too. And what is the best way to practice and learn the Flutter efficiency? The best way to learn Flutter is, I would suggest that follow a roadmap. Don't simply learn, because like uh, Flutter is something I have seen many people who are learning Flutter, but they what they do is they keep on learning something, and after a point they just uh, leave it, or they just learn from top so that they can actually just code something. But learning Flutter is more than just coding. You have to actually improve how you have to actually learn from deep itself to get to understand it. I hope I answered your question. How long it take to learn and practice? For me, I have been working in Flutter since almost 3 years. But yeah, basically it depends on you how you are learning the Flutter. Let me also share the roadmap which I have created. Maybe someone from the team can share in the YouTube comments as well. So yeah, it depends on how you're learning, how much time you are dedicating every day. It is not like that you have to, constantly learn for many hours or something. But yeah, it is always good to keep on practicing it. Do we need to learn theory portion for Flutter? Yeah, it's not compulsory, but it's a good practice to learn theory as well as to go through the Dart concepts that we have. Because if you're not learning theory or if you're not learning Dart and directly going to Flutter, there are chances that you might not understand few of the concepts. There are high chances for it.
So I think we don't have any more questions. So if anybody have any questions, you can still type in the chat box. As of now, we don't have any more questions. So
Okay, I guess there is one where to start learning as a beginner. So, yeah, I would share the roadmap itself. That would be a better option. So, this particular roadmap I have created by myself. It's not like something you constantly have to follow, but this was something which I tried to follow, and I was able to, learn from it. So, yeah, I guess Shaishav, you would be able to also learn from this. Another question, sir, how to manage the data management in the Flutter. So there are many what you can say state management tools. One is provider, block, riverpod, set state. Also, you can say the state management, but most probably in production level applications, Flutter block is used and provider is used. So yeah, if you are complete beginner for state management, you can try out provider, and then you can learn block. Block is also one of the good one, so we can try that as well.
okay, so I think we have like answer all the questions in the chat, and like we have also seen a lovely demo of the app. So yeah, I think okay. So there is one more question.
Sorry. Yeah, I have sent the link in the chat itself.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Let me just send it over. Okay, so thank you so much, sir, for this informative session. Okay, sir, one more question.
Okay. Have you practiced React Native? What are the key areas where Flutter is better than React Native? So I haven't done React Native, but let's suppose that if you are a complete beginner and if you already know web development or JavaScript perfectly, then I would suggest you can try out React Native. Personally, I never understood markup languages like HTML, JS, everything. So I have been working in OOP language since 11th standard. So I felt that classes and objects are much easier for me. So I moved to Flutter. There are many concepts which are better in Flutter compared to React Native. One is you can publish your own packages whenever, wherever you need. Then Flutter improves its performance exponentially. So let's suppose that if you have an application, just a one page application, then you would find that React Native or the native Android iOS is more better compared to Flutter. But whenever your application increases in size, you would find that performance of Flutter is more better compared to React Native or any other thing. I hope that solved your question.
Yeah, amazing. So do anyone have any more questions? You can type in the chat box. Okay, I think we don't have any more questions.
Okay.
So yeah, thank you so much, sir, for this insightful session. And yeah, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you for
Thank you
inviting.
all
Thank you.
for
Bye.
joining. Yeah, bye everyone.